Today on our show,
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, by the sound of that, that can mean only one thing, man. Me and Mark are going to review every fucking episode of Marvel's Luke Cage, man. Now on Netflix. We're going to Iron Fist 13 episodes straight up your power, man, right here today on
Fat Man on Batman.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Fat Man on Batman. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
And we're back, folks.
How you doing, man?
Very, very good.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Don't sing that too loud, man. They'll fucking come down on you for that. I was off in Central City, Vancouver, British Columbia, working on my second episode of The Flash, which we'll talk about in a future episode. Had a blast, but I've been away for a while. Happy to be here, ready to talk about anything that I love, dude. And right now, I love Luke Cage. Marvel dropped Luke Cage, and we talked about Netflix, rather, dropped Marvel's Luke Cage. And we talked about it.
Yeah, because we'd seen the first seven. And we talked in like loose terms and non-spoilery terms.
Very non-spoiler.
Vaguely loving it.
Tell them what we're going to do now.
Oh, not loose, not vague.
Precise.
Yes.
We're going to zero in on the clitoris of this review and fucking rub our nose in it.
Laser focusing in.
Oh my God. This is all fucking cage. We're going to uncage this whole episode of the show, man. Let's talk about it.
All right.
We talked about the first seven and how well it was put together. We talked about the performances. Let's talk about what happened, I guess, from the midpoint out. How do we do this? Should we just do it from top to bottom?
Let's do it from top to bottom. Did you rewatch the first seven?
I didn't, to be fair.
Yeah.
Why, did you?
I watched seven again, just so I can...
All right, I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I thought you meant the whole first seven. I was starting to feel shitty, like, why didn't I do that? Is that a racist thing? Why didn't I rewatch it, Mark? What's wrong with me?
What's wrong? A black man can't have a whole show?
I rewatched seven as well, because I was like, what the fuck happened? And I literally forgot. What I remembered, spoilers, first off, give me a fucking single here.
Give him a single.
We're going to spoil the shit out of this. So fucking, if you haven't watched it yet, fuck off. If you have watched it, fuck in. Back to a fucking two-shot.
Rowan and Martin's fucking.
Kevin Mark's fucking. Fucked in is fucking Cottonmouth's face, dude.
Mic drop! Mic drop! Mic drop!
Oh my God, Mariah just takes his fucking face out. So that's what I remember as the end of episode 7 from the first 7 that I watched. So when I was about to watch 8, I'm like, what's fucking going on? Let me refresh. And I went back, and all of a sudden I'm like, I did the thing where you kind of fast forward through your timeline of the episode, and I saw Luke on his back, and I'm like, what?
What did I miss?
Then I watched it, and I'm like, oh my God, that was the closer of episode 7, was him getting
The Judas bullet.
And fucking, dude, how much, let's just take a beat to appreciate who's in charge of the show? Cheo
Hidari Coker.
Worked on Southland.
Worked on Southland, wrote the Notorious B.I.G. movie. Has been in and around TV and film and journalism for a very long time.
I don't know if he gets the credit for it, but I'm going to give it to him because this feels like an auteur show. Even though there are many different directors and many different writers, it feels like a vision of an auteur on this show, man.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give him props. I don't know whether he did it or not, but having it be Hammer Tech, oh my God, dude, I loved that so much. Like, they don't, every once in a while in the shows, they've been like New York and, the incident and stuff like that. But that was fucking phenomenal. Like, way to tie in almost seamlessly. Call back to something, I'm like, oh, like, they're never going to use that again in the features.
Nope.
So give it to them on the fucking TV shows, on the Netflix shows. Just that nod to, like, those of us who've been like, that's what they do right over there. Both the movie division and the fucking TV division of Marvel, both tied together, one universe. Take note, other company, distinguished competition. Having one universe allows you to fucking do that, man. Make this kind of reference where you're like, oh, that's dope. And it shows they give a fuck. And it rewards those of us who are like, oh, fuck, I love that. That's Hammer Tech. That's Justin Hammer. That's that whole plot line from Iron Man 2 that you probably like never would have thought of again until they're like, well, here's a Judas
unless you
bullet.
see like the footage of what's his face dancing, which you always see, because Sam Rockwell dancing always makes you happy.
That's what he does.
Yeah, pretty much.
That must be how he gets into character at all times.
Like, oh, just drop me a beat. I got to get in there.
Amazing dance. I wish they would have brought him. I mean, this is no complaint whatsoever. I love what they did, just even referencing it, and it's great because it's like high-end military hardware that is now trickling down to the streets. But why? Because now they have somebody on the streets who's fucking bulletproof. Like, there's a logic to everything. But if they had thrown in, if Rockwell had made one appearance, dude, but they had an even fucking huger cameo that I wasn't ready for. And I don't know anybody was, but spoilers, man. Again, spoilers. Fucking Method Man. In a convenience store. Dude, the guy who made Clerks, I rolled a tear. I was like, oh, good Lord.
Well, to be fair, Marvel gave it away with the last trailer, which you might have been up in Flash in Central City. But the very last trailer has a bit of that exchange. Where it's like, Method Man? Luke Cage? Oh, shit. Like, that bit.
That was as charming to me as like, you got a heart, kid. Where are you from? Brooklyn or Queens. Brooklyn. You know, it was a really fucking sweet moment. And also just how well it was played in terms of like him being like, it's you. And he's like, it's you. Like,
hold on, I got to take this, but Method Man.
Yes.
Wait, you a double XL? I'm way ahead of you, homie. Just takes off the...
And then they, like, it wasn't just a scene, like they tied it in later on the radio show and stuff.
where apparently Sway is the voice of Black America. Sway, MTV
How do you feel
DJ.
about that, Mark?
Well, I mean, good for you, Sway. That's good on you, but... Ooh.
That was the one part you're like, that reeks of
pulling me out of it.
inauthenticity.
I don't buy it. No, Luke Cage, no.
It was breathtaking how Marvel friendly it was, but more than that, dude, like you take out the fact that my man's skin is bulletproof. It's just a wonderful detective show.
Yeah.
And that's what they do well, it seems like, over at Marvel TV with the Marvel Netflix. I mean, what would you call it? I don't want to confuse it with...
It's Marvel, it's the Netflix universe.
Netflix universe, I guess.
Let's do that, the NCU.
Well, here's my question. If Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is tied to the movies,
Yes.
and these shows are tangentially tied to the movies, are they tied to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Theoretically, yeah.
Why is there no, like...
You would think there would be.
I mean, especially with this company.
Although,
back
I mean,
and forth.
here's the thing that we know will happen. We just don't know when it will happen.
Right.
Who is going to give Misty Knight her metal arm?
And I mean, for maybe some cats are just like, oh, I love this new Misty Knight character. Misty Knight been around in the comics for a long ass time. One half of the Daughters of the Dragon, which is why in the last episode when they do their montage, their 100 Days, 100 Nights montage, a beautiful way to end that show. They show Misty going up to the telephone pole and she pulls off the fucking, like, this is martial arts training, Colleen Wing, and you're like, that means you're one step closer to Danny Rand. That means you're one step closer, and you get real fucking close in Luke Cage to Misty Knight.
Yeah, because when she gets, like, I think you nicked an artery, we might lose this arm.
Yes!
Lose the arm, chop it off, chop it off.
Oh, they were such bitches. They dangled it right there, because we talked to Mike and Simone for the Geeking Out show. And, you know, I asked about the arm. She's like, you're just going to have to watch and stuff. And I was talking about season 2. And then for a minute, I was like, oh, I can't believe they're going to do it in season 1. Like, they can get away with it right now. Nobody will fight it and stuff. But they held on to it. They dangled it like an injured arm, but held on to it.
So, like, Justin Hammer could give her a metal arm. Tony Stark could give her a metal arm.
So weird you say that, dude. Because while that was happening, in the scene in the Harlem Paradise where she's behind the bar and Lucas just keeps fucking blocking her and shit, and then finally they go downstairs. Like, as her arm was shot and she's losing blood downstairs, I'm sitting there going, how are they going to do it? Is it going to be, I didn't even think Justin Hammer. I was like, is it going to be Tony Stark? Like, are they just going to, like, I know Robert Downey Jr. ain't going to show up because I would have heard about it by now. But is there going to be some fucking way? But they didn't. They chose not to deal with it this season.
Right.
I think that's smart. Number one, they had a lot of story to tell. Number two, like, these fucking Marvel Netflix shows are so fucking legit.
Yeah.
That soon I think we're going to see more absorption into the MCU. I think at the beginning, you know, like Marvel Cinematic Universe is like, look, yeah, they exist, but like we're doing this thing and fucking don't worry about it. But I think these, like with Daredevil twice now, Jessica Jones, and now Luke Cage being as good as it is, they could stand shoulder to shoulder. These characters and the portrayals of these characters with the cinematic portrayals.
Like if you just let's pretend.
Give him a single. He's about to preach.
Let's pretend we all go see Black Panther, and in the background, Misty Knight's getting a metal arm in Wakanda.
Okay,
clearly.
Go back to Two-Shot quick. Did you fucking hear that? Did you hear that? What a great idea.
Because they took off the Winter Soldier's metal arm. They got one lying around. I'm just saying.
What you can't see because this table is just me plastering, frosting the bottom of it with mine own juices. Oh my God, what a good idea. Hire this fucker. That's a writer right there. If I was fucking Marvel, I'd be like, that shit's good. That's a good idea. I didn't even think of it. My limited imagination was like Tony Stark. And you're like, they'll take it to Wakanda, you fucking fool. I'm like, he's absolutely right.
It's where black people go to get their work done.
There's so many.
I need to tune up.
There's so many fucking ways they could get rid of that metal arm, man. And it's all satisfying.
Yeah, every one of those would make you happy.
Yeah.
Like, what if Spider-Man Homecoming? Like, Tony's in New York, right? He's chilling with Spider-Man.
Look, I'm about to give advice to a fucking insanely successful franchise of films and a company that can't fucking lose. But if you want 2 bits, go to a single, boys. If you want 2 bits from the director of Yoga Hosers, here, take this nickel's worth of free advice. Layer some of these fucking Marvel, Netflix, Defenders characters into the next Spider-Man. You're in New York, like. Just background. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've got a cop scene, call fucking Simone. If you've got you know what I loved in fucking Luke Cage whenever Rosario was like, I know a guy is an excellent lawyer. I was like, yes, call him right now. Let's see him. Oh, little shit like that.
Maybe that's how Luke Cage gets out of Seagate. And the next thing she knows, fucking Mac Murdock. What?
And by Mac Murdock, he means Matt
Murdock.
He was very excited.
Mac Murdock.
He was very excited.
He knows Roger Murtaugh. They're
both. It's fucking Luke Cage and Murtaugh on a toilet. We go on 3 or
I don't know.
After 3, I don't know. 1.
Always forward or backward? Always backward. Always backward.
But on 3, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I'm getting too old for this shit. Oh my God, these are fucking good ideas. Even the Roger Murtaugh idea is a good idea.
Not so bad. Danny Glover's not busy.
That's right. Well, it don't even have to be him anymore. If you want to do a modern day crossover, it can be Damon Wayans.
Damon Wayans.
He's the new Murtaugh. I think. They tell me. Have you watched that show?
I have, yeah.
And?
It's all right.
Is it?
It's not bad. It's just it doesn't have Mel Gibson in it. That's the
Wait, that's a bad thing?
Well, because here's the thing.
Has the world turned upside down?
Whatever Mel Gibson is to you now.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Whatever. But in 1986,
he
that motherfucker was at the height of being a movie star.
Running down the street, chasing a car down a fucking 405 with a fucking gun.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
Bare feet.
That was one of those, like, that role made him. That was his Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, look at this fucking guy. All charisma, all sex, all everything.
He had, like, Mad Max and The Road Warrior.
And Gallipoli and shit like that. But yeah,
he
but
had
this was the.
films, but this was like,
this was the.
bank on this
oh my God, look at that guy.
It's not even like Lethal Weapon was. It was a hit, but it wasn't like insanely massive. But Lethal Weapon 2,
huge.
By that point, that dude was a god.
Through the roof. Yeah. You know, like, so the guy who's playing Riggs in this is good, but it's not like, holy shit, did you see that guy? He's fine.
Who is the guy who plays Riggs? Where is he from?
God, Clayne Crawford, his name is.
Good name.
It's a good, if you're going to be like a dude on television. Clayne Crawford.
Really good.
I don't even know what a Clayne is, but he's one of them.
Me neither, but I wish I was one now.
Yeah. I had never seen him in anything. People seem to like him in stuff, but it's fine. It's a fine show.
We ain't here to talk about that show.
We're not here to talk about that show.
We're here to blow Luke Cage, man. Take
bit.
Power Man and our fucking iron.
Did I ever tell you my history with Cheo?
No.
I have a history with Cheo.
Hey, give him a single. He's about to drop some. He's about to name reference and drop some Hollywood history.
I have a little. I was when I was at Entertainment Weekly. I went to my very first visit to Skywalker Ranch for the Star Wars Episode 1 DVD junket. A, when they had DVDs, and B, when they had junkets for DVDs. So I flew out to the Skywalker Ranch, my first time to Mecca, and it was awesome. But I see, like, he was then a freelancer for Premiere, also doing a story. And, you know, you get, like, the black dude radar. It's like, hey, there's another black guy in all of Marin County, and we're at the same place. Hey!
There's black guy radar like there's fat guy radar?
Well, it's where the nod comes from. It's the, like, how's it going? All right, just in case it all goes down, you got my back, right? I got your back.
I got a version of that with fat people. Hey, man, I'm fat, too.
Yeah.
We can't control ourselves. Like that. You've got something where it's like we share something like the soul. Mine is just like we're slovenly pigs, slovenly sloth pigs.
And there's also the writer shrug, which is more just like, I know, I got fucked by the studio, right? Shitty notes.
We made bad choices.
You seem to be doing all right. But yeah, so we met on that junket and just sort of kept in touch.
Who was he writing for?
He was writing for Premiere at the time, and I was at EW.
Premiere, there's something.
Premiere,
Wow.
throwback. But yeah, we just kept in touch, and he would be on TV shows, and then I left EW, and then had whatever career that I've managed to stitch together, and we would just like reconnect every now and again. I was like, Cheo, fucking Luke Cage, and I just sat there just applauding every time. Like, good for you, man. Well done.
It feels like one vision on that show. It feels like they were like, here, you got a voice, tell a story.
Totally.
And they told a story that I bet you when they started telling the story, when they originally thought about telling the story, it wasn't going to be as timely as it is right now.
No. I mean, while it's easy to say there's no way they could have predicted it, except for the fact that you could kind of, in the last 5 years, predict it. Like ever since Trayvon Martin, there has been this steady parade of, police brutality and consciousness and Black Lives Matter. And it's been going on for as long as that show's been in development. So for it to be able to tap into a thing that's been around for a while, that we've been living with for a while, that sadly we don't even get surprised anymore by the news, where it's like, oh, that happened again. Oh, all right. Are we marching for this one or not? Like, I'm not sure. Am I supposed to be outraged again for a thing that seems to happen once a month?
Yeah.
Yes, we should be outraged. But so the fact that this show's managed to capture a lot of that, like we were talking before about the Hoodie.
The Hoodie. My thing was like, I looked at the Hoodie and I said, aside from the obvious Trayvon Martin kind of, let's reclaim the Hoodie, as opposed to it being depicted as something that a criminal wears. Instead, I said it looked like with this series that was his cape and cowl, that was his domino mask, that was his helmet of Naboo. Like, there's no costume. There's a moment on the show where you see him, and reflected in the window of something that looks like the comic book costume. You're like, oh, the fanboy, and he goes,
he's got the crown and the bracelets and the yellow.
And you see it, and then you're like, take it off, take it off, take it off. Go back to being legitimate. And
like,
so
man, I look like a runaway slave.
He doesn't have the like the mantle of another, hero. Like Daredevil eventually, he's wearing the head sash for most of it, and then he gets the costume. Jessica, I guess, doesn't have anything whatsoever. No. But he's got, like, to me, I was like, oh, his hoodie's kind of like his Batman cowl or his Captain America shield. And then Marc very brilliantly said, give him a single.
For me, especially in that scene post Method Man, like when he and Meth trade hoodies, and Meth is so happy to fucking have this bulletproof hoodie, it becomes like his Clark Kent glasses. Like, it's the thing he uses to pass in the world, to be passed unknown. And so when the police are just rolling up on people in hoodies, anybody could be Luke Cage.
Go
and
to
the
a
police
two-shot.
Think anybody is Luke Cage.
That was awesome right there. That's some fucking writing right there, man.
But
that's a writer who saw some writing that I saw but didn't understand in quite the same way. That's fucking.
I like the semiotics of hoodies.
Is that what it is?
That's going to be my new class at the UCLA extension.
I'll sign up for that class, man.
The semiotics of hoodies. First,
do I have to show up, or can I send a tape recorder? Recorder. Oh my god! I guess I could use my phone, telephonic device.
Get your old reel-to-reel. Get your mojo. Fax me some shit.
Let's give some love to the cast.
Yes.
Mike is wonderful as your Luke Cage.
Mike makes it hard for everybody else to walk around the planet.
No shit, dude. He was on set with us on Geeking Out, dude, and every woman was like, and every dude was like, I would. I'd hit it. Like, he's an insanely wonderful specimen of a man. Simone, and we got to discover Mike as Luke Cage in Jessica Jones.
Right.
So there was no like, hey, what a surprise,
Yeah, he was a known quantity to a certain degree.
Exactly. But what you didn't know was Simone playing Misty Knight, where I wasn't familiar with her work.
Me neither.
Fucking fantastic. Who's the dude who plays Cottonmouth?
Mahershala Ali.
Fucking fantastic. I've known Alfred Woodard for as long as I've been watching movies and shit like that. As long as she's been in movies that I've been watching. And I've always fucking loved Alfred Woodard. they let her shine in this. Like she gets to chew the scenery too, but not like she never goes over the top. Even in like the big kill scene, it's all logical and it feels like part of a whole.
Like she's towing the line of over the edge, and you see her having a really good time out there.
And he says something to her that fucking throws her over the edge in terms of like, you wanted it. I did not want it. And that's
like,
what snaps
you were always just sitting on his lap. You were asking for it.
But that has the, that scene could have been no more wire hangers. But she found a way to fucking play unhinged rage, emotional rage, and then bring it back for the rest of the series and believe that like, oh, fucking yeah.
Right.
She lost it and now she's back under control. And she's fighting this, family history of being out in crime as opposed to being kind of like more political beast that she is in the beginning of the show. And it's you don't even realize it, but by the time you get to, I mean, again, spoilers, by the time you get to the death of Cottonmouth, you realize, oh, the arc is not about the rise of a crime kingpin. We've seen that in Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's about a public servant falling apart and falling into a life of crime that they were desperately trying to stay away from. Much more interesting story, I think.
Yeah, like fall from a grace that she never actually had. Like she was already a little bit tarnished.
Yeah.
But I am always better than you. I am not a part of this. Like I was not raised to be this girl, and suddenly this is actually what I'm best at.
She has one beautiful, it is an acting moment, but it's no dialogue to convey this thought. But, she does a meet and greet with, people and stuff like that, and she walks away, her fucking assistant puts the shit in her hands, and she does this shit. Right then and there, you're like, oh, she's shitty. She's one of those people. So she's wonderful. The guy that plays fucking Diamondback, who doesn't come in until episode 8.
Yeah.
And then steals the show.
I didn't know.
Talk about making up for lost time. You drop in on episode 8, and then you're the thing everyone wants to see from that moment forward. He's compelling.
Yeah, I don't remember that actor's name.
Me neither.
I feel horrible about it. He's great. He's like.
But now I want to see him in everything.
He's like Tony Todd Jr. Like there is this like silken quality to him. Like his speech patterns are so wonderful, and he's just mesmerizing to listen to, and a little bit off his rocker, but in a great way.
He reminded, this sounds weird, man, because it's like cross-racial reference, but he reminded me of, remember Ray Liotta in that movie Something Wild?
Yeah.
Just like where you're like, this dude's compelling and dangerous at the same time. That's what his performance felt like. It wasn't just mustache twisting bad guy. And they're I'm not saying oh my God, I've never seen the story of warring half-siblings, one accepted by a parent and the other not. But I didn't expect that was going to be the arc.
No.
And it wasn't up until episode 8.
Yeah.
So suddenly, that's smart. That's why they only gave us the first 7, dude, because episode 8, everything, that becomes a completely different series.
Flips on a dime.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, and Marvel has given us the warring Thor and Loki is that thing. It's elemental when it comes to fiction and drama, so it doesn't surprise me. I kind of wanted that guy's. I wanted him to have more of a plan than he did.
Right.
And even Shades calls him on it. It's like, what? This is not a plan. You're just reacting to shit.
Somebody needs to do that to fucking Tony Stark in the movies.
Stop inventing stuff, Tony.
Yeah,
please.
what are you doing? You're killing us.
But yeah, I just kind of wanted him to have a little bit more, or his plan, what he did, to have a bit more nuance to it. But he's magnetic to watch.
Yeah.
He's fascinating.
Come on, dude. Not for nothing. But, and again, spoilers, they put him in that fucking suit. He literally looked like his comic book counterpart and it made sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't just we're making him look like, he looks like the Juggernaut because he has to look like the Juggernaut. This guy didn't look like fucking Diamondback the whole time. He looked like Willis Stryker or whoever the character's name is. And then, suddenly for the big fucking fight, he shows up in an outfit that's like Hammer Tech. That was also Hammer Tech. That literally looks like his fucking comic book costume. And you don't sit there going, this is stupid. You go oh, it makes sense. He needs to put on this fucking suit in order to face a guy who's almost unbeatable and stuff. So his strength to be at equal level and he could take the punches. But fuck all that. He just looked the fucking part.
I just love the black dude in the barbershop. He's like, that is some Jean-Paul Gaultier type shit.
The fight, I love that it come down to just a big brawl in Harlem on the streets with the neighborhood like, kick his ass, Luke!
It's a rage in Harlem.
Yeah, it was fucking beautiful. Like, because there's a lot of satisfying bigness to the whole thing. But at the end of the day, it was a struggle between two brothers, and like ending it there on the streets was kind of sweet.
And then for the first time to see Luke Cage actually challenged by something, you know, like there's a stretch in the middle of the season where Luke is after the Judas bullet hits him, and then a second
About
Judas
three
bullet.
episodes.
3 episodes he's on his
Judas
back
bullets.
and is a little bit like, I can't do anything, I'm gonna die soon. Which, you know, like I get why you do that, so you can reset that character. But it takes some of the air out of the, like we were talking about it before. It feels like it's maybe 2 episodes too long. Like if this was 10 tight episodes.
If I had to pick any complaint, if somebody put a gun in my head and said, make a complaint. Yeah, it's like, I think you could get away with a lot of this storytelling in fewer episodes.
Like as much as I love living with those characters are all great. The actors are all amazing in them.
Right.
But sometimes it doesn't have enough for them to do. So you're a little bit wanting, like, where's the juice happening?
Right.
And after like 10, 11 episodes of Luke Cage just swatting people aside, you want him to have a challenge. You want him to have to, he's a dude who's never known how to fight.
Right.
He never had to, really. I mean, yes, Force Recon, I'm a Marine, but he just keeps swatting people. Just
Right.
pop.
One dude, he literally just taps in the head and he goes down. And I remember when he did it, I was thinking, like, that dude's so strong. Like, he might have concussed that dude forever.
Yeah, just with a pop, and there he goes. But like him having to improvise, him having to be challenged, him having to solve the problem of here's a dude I can't just pap aside.
Right.
That's where that drama comes in. That's what makes that a satisfying conclusion.
Cottonmouth using a fucking bazooka. God, I'm so stoned. I got the word for bazooka. Cottonmouth using a bazooka is straight out of an issue of Luke Cage. Like there's an image of Cottonmouth in the comics using a fucking bazooka. Shit like that, dude. Just somebody who, I mean, I know a lot of people are like, did you see the Stan Lee sign? Like they had their own little Stan Lee cameo in those, if you see it reported or whatever, in the background of one of the shots. But it's more than that, man. You're given, like I remember here, this is weird. I was thinking this as I was watching Luke Cage. I remember at one point, Jeff Loeb had sent me an email going, hey, how do you feel about Iron Fist? And, you know, that's, Jeff Loeb runs fucking Marvel TV and stuff, so that's, hey.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, you know what? I wrote back, I was like, I love that fucking outfit, but I'm probably not your guy, man. I don't have an original story for that or something like that. Because I think so fucking literally. Like, they found a way to tell a story where they incorporated elements from the comics, so there was familiarity for anybody who really likes that shit and whatnot. And they used all the colors in the crayon box, so to speak, and they just kind of like chose to color it differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still all there, but it's not, it's the source materials at the heart. I don't want to dismiss the source material by being like, you know, these silly characters and their names and stuff, but there's an important heritage for any comic book character that when a fan sees that, make it all the way up to the finished product in a different medium. You know, as much as like we all hated the Martha moment, it's kind of nice that somebody fucking acknowledged
The ridiculousness.
that both of their mothers' names was Martha. And like, as a fan, I was like, that's deep cuts and stuff. So the fact that they had all these kind of moments where you're like, oh my God, that is like out of the comics, but completely remixed in a more sensical fashion for a current age and stuff. My hat goes off. Like, that's vision. Like,
Yeah.
I could not, I'm not even going, I couldn't do it if they asked me. I wasn't completely asked, but I was inquired, like, hey, how do you feel about this? And I buckled. I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
Man. Like,
it is such a
takes
feat
talent.
of adaptation. It's
Yeah.
like, when you look at Daredevil had been treated seriously for a good long while.
Yeah.
Like, there's some cheesy ball stuff in the background there for sure, but after Frank Miller did it, up until now, like, Daredevil was a serious fucking character and there were serious stories about him. Jessica Jones started as a serious character, serious book. Luke Cage has not had a ton of serious done about him.
Right.
So to find those nuggets in there and be like, you know what, that I can pull, this I can use, this I can recontextualize and remix, and like, and music is such a big part of this, and it's so part of the texture of it.
Yeah, in
like
a big bad way. In a way that, like, I love that show on HBO, Vinyl. They ain't coming back, but they did one season. And all those episodes were so entrenched in music, and they would have musical performances that were kind of like for characters that weren't there, like famous performances that would comment kind of on the content. This, I thought, was done a lot more organically. Guys got a club,
right?
So you got a stage, so you can sit there and build the music organically into an episode, and then have it kind of score a montage or score a murder or so forth and so on. It's really beautifully done.
And like even the original music that's in there, none of it feels like needle drops.
Right.
But it all feels like it belongs. It all feels like it's part of the texture of the show. It's helping you tell the story of that show without it just being, you know, and as much as I love, you know, Tarantino or Scorsese and guys who do it incredibly well, it's not that.
It is, well, it's so weird that you mentioned Tarantino because it takes balls, chutzpah, as they say, to step up and go, yeah, I'm going to use Son of a Preacher Man. Like I remember watching the scene going like, wow, that's good. I thought Quentin had that song for the next 100 fucking years.
Yeah.
But it makes absolute sense in the context of their story, and it was kind of bold choice in a way that I'm sure that they were like he has the line before it, he's like, my mama loved Blue-Eyed Soul. And like there was a bit of reclamation where they're like, look, this song belonged to others before it belonged to Quentin Tarantino, so we're going to have it narrate a piece of this story. I thought it was interesting, man. I was kind of like, I sat there going, that's ballsy. That's really ballsy.
I'm fucking around. but yeah, like that's, to me, the great achievement of this show is the texture of the world that it builds. Is the giving us a Harlem that feels authentically like Harlem, but still also feels like it's a part of the Marvel universe.
Marvel's Harlem, which is always in jeopardy.
Yeah, like it could go. I mean, the last time we saw Marvel's Harlem, Abomination was running full speed at the Hulk. Win Canada, basically. Like that's all. I think I broke Harlem. Yeah, you did. In that shitty,
this is a much
shitty
better
movie.
treatment of Marvel. Of Harlem.
But like,
because it is Harlem.
It is Harlem. Like Hell's Kitchen never felt like a real place to me, as much as like, and I know Hell's Kitchen like you know Hell's Kitchen. Like I've been there. It's this fucking big. You can wrap your arms around Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, it's a couple blocks.
Yeah.
So when they talk about like he's taking down the kitchen, you're like, what? All 2 blocks?
Seriously?
Why don't you guys just put a street fair on both of those
I know,
blocks and you'll be fine?
It's like 50th to 44th, and it's like 2 blocks that way.
If he's only working the kitchen, fucking put some cameras up.
Just tent that shit. You could do that. It's that small.
Try fucking patrolling Harlem. It's big.
It's big, but yeah, like it feels like Harlem, and it feels like it's
opening fucking credit sequence is almost a love letter. To every highlight of Harlem.
And Mike Coulter's stunning physique.
Is that his body thing?
Yeah.
For sure.
Motherfucker.
I mean, why? Yeah. It's like, no, we got a body double because we needed someone just that much hotter than that guy.
Man, he came to the Comic-Con. He came to the LA Times like video photo suite, and there were like, you know, a couple of women who were doing the scheduling, and like a photographer, and literally the breath stopped breathing when he walked in. Oh God. I'm already pregnant, but I could evacuate, make room for that kid's baby.
Yeah, my God. He could impregnate a man just looking at him.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's do this.
And there's moments in the show, like one of my favorite moments in the show was like when Rosario, who's amazing, Rosario Dawson is back, and they actually, when they're in the club, when they're being held captive, by Diamondback's men, and the girl, she's like, pretend you're sick, so Rosario can go downstairs and find out where Luke Cage is. The thug who lets her go, I think it's Sugar, is like, yo, let the night nurse down there. Like, where it was just like, he said night nurse, but it made sense in the context. Oh my God, it's perfect throwaway moment. She is phenomenal. Once again, she's been great in Daredevil. She was great in Jessica Jones. I looked online, it says she's in 3 episodes. Felt like it was way more than 3 episodes of Luke Cage she was in. And she was fantastic. Like, she's a breathtaking actress. And I don't just mean like, ooh, she's pretty to look at. She's definitely that. But her performance skills, man, unparalleled. They're giving her some gobbledygook to say sometimes. She got to do a lot of expository shit, man. And she's selling it.
Yeah, like, abalone shells.
Yes.
Whatever, okay.
Oh, my Lord, man. But she's selling it in a big, bad way. And she's got this wonderful moment with Mike where it looks like, where they have their, like, you know, would you like to have some coffee? And what did she say about the fucking coffee? She was like,
he didn't drink coffee.
But she says something that's like insanely like, oh my God, if it was I don't want to do it, I don't want to ruin it, and I don't want to say it wrong, but it was essentially like, my pussy will tear you up. She didn't say that at all. But in reference to the coffee analogy, she was just like, they were doing the kind of like, do you like coffee? My coffee is fucking, you know, hot as shit. I don't know. It was something like that. But she was alluding to like, oh, fucking, don't you worry about it. Like, you ain't had...
I got this.
Yes. And then they can't... They don't get to...
Yeah.
Spoilers. Again, they don't get to fuck, but they do get to kiss, and it's really hot.
There is this beat towards the, I think it's the end of his Seagate, like when they give him his powers back and he's staring off at the prison, and he goes to look in her pocket for the car keys, and she doesn't know what he's looking for. Like, he's reaching and...
Yes!
And she's like, all of these things are going across her face. She's like, yeah, we're doing this. Back seat, I'm on it. Hood, whatever.
Yes.
It ain't even our car, it's a rental. We could fuck it up. And
then he slides the keys out.
like, I think I'll drive.
And she had that face of,
like,
She has the face that I have had as a man many times in life where I'm like, do you like me? And like, no. I'm like, of course. What was that thing?
Yeah, I mean, I would, but
yeah.
No, it's not happening tonight. It's a bad idea if it happened tonight, isn't it?
I'm beneath you. I'd like to be beneath you. She's fantastic in the fucking show. At the end, it's Rosario that goes, no. At the end, it's, what is Rosario's? Rosario's the one that goes to the telephone pole and pulls the Colleen Wing thing. I think before I said it was Misty. But that's her beat at the end. Right, because the Misty thing would have been too on the nose. So it was Rosario doing it. So that means that's her handing off to her and Danny Rand and Iron Fist. So she'll be able to play a fucking logical role in that. My big fear, and it's not like big fear like fucking my kid getting killed or home invasion, but one of my big first world fears, is that, like, she's the galvanizing factor that brings the Defenders together in a, like, I don't want them to kill her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which brings the Defenders
We don't
together.
want her to be Coulson.
Yes. Because she's so fucking good, dude. Like, she's, look, I put her in a movie, so obviously I'm a big fan. But my gosh, she's so legit. She sells this shit. Makes it seem fucking real. Makes, like, you could sit there with a straight face next to, like, your wife who never watches this shit while she talks about this guy being bulletproof and whatnot. And it's just as, it doesn't matter that he's got this fucking superpower. It's just as harrowing a scene as if somebody got shot and somebody's trying to take a bullet out on the fucking road. It just has the added level of sci-fi or super heroics with the doctor, who is awesome at the end. Fucking they pull him in. And you see him go into Diamondback's room when his fucking door closes, and you're like, "That's all gonna happen." It's fantastic. But that's me as a fucking fan of the comic, just a fan of good storytelling, because this has almost very little to do with the actual comic. They took the names and stuff like that, and then made this kind of really brilliant show.
Yeah, it's like take what you can use and then toss the rest, and don't feel any obligation to any of it. If it's not helpful, ditch it. If it works for you, fix it. But you can absolutely make a whole thing out of whole cloth, just using the parts you love, using the parts that you dig, using the parts that help you tell the story better. If it doesn't, fuck it.
Luke Cage is fucking well worth your time, but just make sure that when you start, you got some space, because it kills a weekend. You're just
and it's a massive hit. It crushed Netflix on Saturday.
That's right.
It took the network down.
How fucking strange. Like, and they never give out their metadata and stuff, but that's saying that they're like, we're thrown offline. They didn't credit it to Luke Cage, but what dropped that weekend?
Yeah, seriously. Luke Cage took the credit, though.
I think Luke Cage might have earned it. What else, like, what was the thing that dropped before it?
I don't know. I don't think there was a thing that anybody gave a shit about on the level that they gave a shit about.
I think it was pretty high profile, and also, like, they've now trained their customer base to be like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Daredevil 2, Luke Cage. Like, people are like, that's going to be quality. I'm tuning in.
And the press presence for Luke Cage was higher than any of the other Marvel shows.
I would agree with that.
Like, it was everywhere.
But, I mean, good Lord, it just feels insanely timely.
Yeah.
Whereas Daredevil, you're like, oh my God, that was great. But it didn't necessarily, like, my God, this comments on our current
the legal system is corrupt.
Yeah,
I get it.
And Jessica Jones was breathtaking in its originality, and also, and it's like, I'm sorry, is an aborted fetus a main plot point in a Marvel anything?
Right.
We're getting away with fucking murder on this show. But I don't know, there's something different going on here.
Like the media grabbed a hold of the themes of Luke Cage, and it's super, I mean, I'm a member of the media, so I know this. It's super easy to capitalize on what's happening in the real world to tell a story about a fake world.
Right.
And there is always something, sadly, in the news that this is now relevant to.
Right.
I mean, And not to say that like rape survivors is not a thing that is always relevant and is always worth talking about, but it captures the public imagination and or fear that continuum is longer than it has been for police brutality and police overreach and all that stuff and body cams and they lean into that fucking shit. Like the fact that the way you get Harlem against Luke Cage is through body cam footage.
Footage of him going in the windshield.
Yeah.
The cop throwing the cop in the windshield. Yeah, it's. Tell me, man, it just felt timely. And then, like, when did they start shooting this? Like, maybe a year ago, max. Probably less than that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
And
sadly,
they were finishing shooting 2 months ago, maybe.
It's fantastic. It's so worth your time, man. Closing thoughts, you got it?
I mean,
give him a single for his closing.
Not to say that Marvel on Netflix cannot do no wrong, because there's always a way to do wrong. But they've absolutely earned my trust at any rate. Like I will go where they will lead. I will go to Iron Fist, even though I think there's a version of that is maybe more inspiring than the version they're giving us. And we talked about it before.
We've talked about on this show the idea of doing an Iron Fist where he had been the son of an immigrant, Asian immigrant. Gives him a chance to kind of reclaim that character, because he was a character created in the 70s during the Kung Fu craze, but he's
like the legacy of the like.
It's yet another white guy that goes to the Orient and comes back with mystical powers and let me show you how Asians do it. You know, man,
this is mansplaining. White-splaining his way through the Orient.
White-splaining Kung Fu. Like, can't we just call it Iron Fist? Like, that's better. Call it that.
Yeah, maybe better.
But
like all of these shows,
like, excellent point though. That's something we brought up, and it was a like really good idea. And then they cast the dude from Loras from Game of Thrones and shit, who's a great actor. But you're like, all right, so I guess they're going with the standard version of Danny Rand.
Yeah, like the metaphors at the heart of these shows. I mean, you get Jessica Jones, all about PTSD and survival and survivor's guilt and rape. You get Punisher, which gets to be all about like, you know, military reacclimating into society and the struggles facing soldiers who try and return. You get Luke Cage, which is all about like trying to escape your past, but your past, much like your skin color, not being able to be so easily shed.
Right.
And then Iron Fist is going to be about like, I'm a rich white guy who went to the Orient, came back, and crime.
That's why they wouldn't let me do the show, because that's what it would have been sounding like, pretty much.
It doesn't have, at least on the surface, and I will give them the benefit of the doubt, does not seem to have the same weight as the other ones do.
But that's the thing. Even though it may not seem like it has the same weight, the fact that we've now watched them crush 3 fucking different shows, and each time find a way to outdo themselves, not be like, this is better, they bettered themselves, but find a way to outdo themselves in storytelling. Yeah, man, it's just like, you know what? Maybe they got a plan.
Yeah.
And maybe when we see it, we'll be like, oh, and shit like that. You can't always get, you know, if we were in charge, things would be different.
Yeah.
But just like you guys, we get to watch shit, man. So sometimes you're like, oh, I wish they'd done that. But now, like, you know, if you wait 8 months, you see what they do, and then you go, oh, I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Like these are all things to debate, all things to discuss with friends and loved ones.
Yeah.
But it's fucking great that we get to debate them.
Yes.
Like the fact that we just have to have a discussion about Iron Fist at some point is glorious.
And you know, we used to do this as kids, but you did it with a few people. Now you could literally have a conversation about Luke Cage with your mother.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, did you watch Luke Cage? Yeah, oh, Tiger, I'd fuck Mike Coulter. Like, Ma, goodbye.
This has gone in a way I didn't expect it to.
And then I hang up and I sit there going, I could arrange that.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I could hook my mother up. Do I do this?
With a Coultergram.
Sweet Christmas. Will Mike Coulter fuck my 7-year-old mother?
Coultergram for Mongo.
It's a question we all ask ourselves. It's an insanely wonderful show. Marvel has done it again. Netflix has done it again. Makes it hard to go pitch shit at Netflix, to be honest with you.
It kind of does, though.
Because I just sit there going, well, that's great. I can't do that. Well, I'll be here on YouTube, I guess. But they're doing some incredible shit, dude. And I wouldn't, if somebody was like, be the visionary behind these series. You know, I'd be doing them like, what are you up to, Kingpin? And be a lot of this shit. They're doing these nuanced fucking stories that are like, that again, if you tuned into Luke Cage like 3 episodes in and you just got hooked and nobody told you that, like, by the way, he's bulletproof. Like, it's just a fucking detective story where you're like, this is pretty fucking compelling shit. And it's just that one element of like, yeah, you know, he was kind of put through this process that hardened his fucking skin and gave him strength and stuff. And they, just like Daredevil's suit, you just, after a while, you're like, whatever.
It's fine.
Like, it's almost incidental, the fact that he's fucking bulletproof. The thing that defines that character is almost incidental to the story, which is compelling enough without having to be like, oh, by the way,
Right.
our lead character is also a superhero.
Right. Like, the thing that defines his character is absolutely not what his character is.
Fuck, that was good. Say it again. Say it to that camera. Say it to a single.
The thing that defines his character is not who that character is.
Go back to the two-shot. Now define that. I don't know what that means.
It is that
it sounds so smart.
That Luke Cage is, yes, bulletproof and impenetrable and kind of strong, but that is not who Luke Cage is. That is not what drives him. That is not what impedes him in any way. Like, the problems that Luke Cage has are not because he's a superhero.
Right.
They're because he was a convict who wants to get his life back. They're because he can't really take his own name back. They're because he can't find a safe place for him to hide, for him to live a full life.
And in that way, he's a classic Marvel character, just like Spider-Man. His key problems aren't his fucking superheroics. It's, I got to go to high school and get good grades. Fucking, I wish this girl liked me. How am I going to pay for these things and stuff?
There's a version like...
There's a lot of how am I going to pay for shit in this show.
All the time. Oh, God damn it.
He had a bar at one point. Remember?
That got blowed up. Like, I had a good gig here.
Luke, look into insurance.
I can't get insurance. My name is Luke Cage. I made it up. I'm an invented persona.
Half of his name was stolen by Nick Cage.
I know.
Nick Cage like chose Cage as his acting name because for fucking Luke Cage.
It's a beautiful thing.
And now there's a Luke Cage show. That's something that, like, you know, he was a comic book fan. So him and like 3 people on the planet would be like, oh shit, he took his name from Luke Cage. But now, and know what that meant.
Right.
Now, fucking, based on what we saw happen to Netflix this weekend, do you understand how fucking huge it is for Netflix to go down? That's like fucking...
Yeah.
I was going to make a sex joke about my wife, but I'll just let it sit there. I'll let you do the imagining. But yes, it's fucking massive. It's not... It don't happen all the time.
No. Can you imagine if Luke Cage played Shades? Like Luke Cage in... I'm sorry, Nick Cage? Nick Cage played Shades in Luke Cage?
In Luke Cage.
I'm sure there's got to be a character for Nicolas Cage in there somewhere. Season 2. Season 2, I'm calling it. I don't know who, but it's sitting right there.
Oh my God, I'm with you on that.
Also, he's not the most discerning of actors at this point. You could probably get him.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck discerning. Like, this is what they've now proven 3 times up at bat 4, if you include the 2 seasons of Daredevil, is fuck the movies.
Yeah.
Like, this shit's gold. There's an article I just read online today that was like, you know, like ABC or GMA or NBC or CBS. It was like one of the big networks that was an analysis of like, are comic book TV shows better than the movies now? And this example they pointed to, the 2 examples were Luke Cage and The Flash. And they're like, you won't find 2 more disparate examples. Like, The Flash knows exactly what it is, but it's one of the best shows on television, they said. And Luke Cage is so set in the fucking real world and so 180 degrees from fucking Flash. But both of these are prime examples of fantastic superhero storytelling. And, you know, they talk about the ability to tell the story over many episodes and stuff. It's a good read, man.
Yeah, I mean, superhero storytelling is nothing different than regular storytelling. And it benefits from being able to give you character. Like, character is why you come back.
Yeah.
You know, we see spectacle all the time, and spectacle is cheap, even though it costs a lot.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately cheap to do. It's like, hey, shit's blowing up and lasers and car chases, whatever.
That bus turned into a fucking robot and knocked a building down.
Do you believe it? But no, it's the, how do I come back week after week for a character? How am I invested in what happens to that person? And TV can do that better than almost anything else.
Because you got time.
Because you got time. You got time, you got space, and you got actors you can identify with.
It's like falling in love, man.
Yeah, and it's intimate. Like, I remember reading listening to this George Clooney interview where he was talking about making the transition from being a TV actor to a movie actor.
Okay.
And it was like, the thing is, I'm in your fucking bedroom. Like, if I'm on ER, you're watching me while you're laying in bed. That is almost as intimate as you get as an entertainment experience without pornography or without prostitution.
Unless you jerked off to ER like I used to back in the day.
Oh, Juliana
Early
Margulies.
90s were a good time. I was like, look at Clooney.
He's so pretty. Just look at me. He never looks at me. That's my problem.
I was sleepily jerking off. Oh, George. What was his doctor's name?
Doug Ross.
Wow. and I'm the one that jerked off to him? You knew his character's name.
I might have role played as him. I'm not as jerked off.
Let me save your life. with my tools.
Clear!
Oh my God, I can't think of a better way to fucking end our Luke Cage suck-off review. I'm sure there'll be people in the comment section being like, why can't you be like this with fucking DC movies and shit?
All they have to be is this way with us.
Yeah, you give me Luke Cage, I'll suck your dick. There you go. Print that on a poster. That's a tagline, if you will. There it is, man. Fucking Luke Cage, like you read about. We both give it... Well, we can't do that, right?
That's copywriting.
It's arbitrary. We both give it pinkies high. There you go. We're creating a new fucking thing. Pinkies crossed. That means good. One pinky down and one pinky in the ear means bad. Neutral is a pinky in the nose and one pinky tapping the desk. We're just making this up as we go along.
I need a cheat sheet for this.
All right. This.
What's a pinky in the ass?
The best. Highest honors.
Friday.
Citizen Kane. Pulp Fiction. The classics.
Strange Brew.
Yes, there you go. There it is, folks. We've reviewed Luke Cage sufficiently for our satisfaction. If it's not sufficiently enough for you, go watch the fucking show. Trust me, nothing we say about it is going to be nearly as good as that show is. Except Marc said some really fucking smart things.
But still, you can just watch the show.
Watch the show. It's worth
Do
watching.
it.
There it is, man. For Fat Man on Batman, I'm Kevin Smith.
Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same fat channel, spawncast.com, or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Sweet Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, click that thing below that says subscribe. Every time you click that, you save a baby kitten from murder.